Chapter 21. So bad. Why play professionally? Wan Mao and Wei Xiao exchanged a look that said the same thing. They could plainly see Jiang Ming's Zed roaming the jungle on the minimap, but they could not, for the life of them, understand the decision-making behind those scarlet electronic eyes. It's just the most basic half-map principle from the later metas, Jiang Ming said, sipping his cold coffee as he watched Zed on the screen, Bloodthirster and Brutalizer gleaming in the inventory. To him, after putting on a show for the viewers and the YY platform's livestream, it was like placing the final checkmate piece. He committed to a full-on assault against the blue team. The instant the mid lane's first turret fell, a shrill cry rang out from the OMG base. Why is he at F4? Wu Zhuangtai would never forget that moment. As he tumbled into the jungle to help bot, Zed's Razor Shuriken from the shadow at F4 struck with surgical precision. Zed's W Shadow cut off the escape, his main body used EA to deal damage, and the second cast of his ultimate dodged the barrel roll. The last shuriken aimed at the turret even predicted the path of the quickness. Gragas died, and Jiang Ming pushed down the mid-turret. Back in lane, with the W duo stunned and bewildered, Zed began actively seeking lane swaps, giving them a practical lesson in the terrifying strength of a mid laner's 4-to-1 split push. When Zed suddenly targeted the bottom lane and requested a swap, Wei Xiao's Ezreal was last hitting minions in the river. He's going to solo push bot? Wan Mao's Sona stopped in front of the second turret, fingers still stained with the enemy Janna's blood. It's only 13 minutes in. This makes no sense. We have to at least catch and kill Zed once, someone muttered. The red team watched Jiang Ming roam carefree with a stupid irritation swelling in their chests. Before they could act, Zed's crimson mark lit up the enemy second turret. 3 seconds later, the turret exploded, and the system announced a team wipe. What had been a 4-man ambush on Zed was turned into a trap when Jarvan 4's ultimate pinned them like fish in a barrel. All, Jarvan 4, Fearless Vanguard team building event. Buy 1, get 3 free. All, Jarvan 4. Want to fight with more against less? Did you ask me, your loyal Fearless Vanguard guard? Triple kill. Legendary. The blue team had clearly underestimated how badly the Jarvan 4 player wanted to climb the ladder. While Zed split pushed, the Jarvan did little more than provide vision and stay within 1,000 yards of him. Whether he cleared camps or not didn't matter. He left the farm for Wei Xiao. The point was simple. Their mid-lane carry could not die. A 4-on-1 gank turned into 3 counter kills, and the remaining members of the purple team slammed into the enemy high ground and ended the game. The blue team had nothing left to contest. Jarvan 4, hey, JM Great God, can I add you as a friend? No problem. It's been a while since I've been carried so nicely, Wei Xiao said with a long sigh after the game. In high elo matches, opponents often behaved like they wanted to play Mahjong bot and never leave. Winning by relying on mid and jungle felt strange to him. Wan Mao, a support who was very sensitive to tempo changes, said with a grave tone, "This season's going to be rough for us. The new patch's pace is too fast. The mid and jungle power spikes are coming way earlier than bot." Wei's previous strategy had been to drag games out so Wei Xiao could scale and then win teamfights. But in this ranked game, the Zed on their side hardly showed up in any major teamfights and still single-handedly carried the match. If that became the new normal, it wasn't good news. Ming Kai, what do you think? Wan Mao asked. What do I think about that game? Ming Kai spun in his gaming chair, the monitor reflecting his pale face. A ground-bound mid-laner and a starvation-style Jarvan 4. Even a dog would shake its head at both team comps. Ming Kai ranted about his mid-teammate. They keep bragging. This mid won't change his old habits. He's so bad. Why is he still playing professionally? He might as well go home and raise pigs. Damn it! A shout of surprise erupted from the other side of the room. Wei Xiao and Wan Mao jumped up. What's wrong? Ming Kai's client on the national server pinged with a successful match. When he saw their opponent's ID, a teacup tipped over somewhere in the training room. It's that kid JM again. On the 16th floor of YY headquarters in Tianhe District, Guangzhou, the air in the conference room had the thickness of heated metal. Xu Tao, general manager of the Voice Business Unit, Chen Wen, operations director, Li Rui, head of marketing, Zhao Zhigang, head of technology, and other executives sat around the round table. Sorry to call everyone so late, Shutao began, but look at this data first. He tapped the projection screen. The laser pointer rested on the peak of a bar graph. This is concurrent viewership from JM's livestream backend. It's exceeded 87,000, a new record for our gaming section. Even more astonishing is user retention. It's averaging 47 minutes per person, 3 times the platform average. He switched to the donations page. His single-day revenue broke 43,000, and 60% came from our highest-tier gift, the excavator. Keep in mind, he only started streaming early this morning. Old Shu, what are you getting at? Someone asked. My point is simple. While we've been scrambling to attract the surge of new LOL players to our gaming livestream section, JM is already ahead. 1/3 of his followers this week are new users. A sharp intake of breath. 1/3 new users. JM alone was doing most of their new user acquisition. Operations Director Chen Wen leaned forward. Our previous contract terms weren't enough. We need to renegotiate, upwards. If another platform poaches him right now, the consequences would be disastrous. Tencent was launching nationwide promotions for the new season of LOL. Everyone in the room understood the terrifying traffic potential. Not having a top traffic-attracting streamer would be a massive missed opportunity. Li Rui pulled up a competitive analysis chart. It's not optimistic. Our neighbors on the other platforms are already preparing. If we hesitate, we'll miss the best window to capitalize on the gaming livestream boom. But how much do we offer JM and his team? What resources should we attach? If we overpay, platform profits suffer. If we underpay, we lose him. You can replicate streamers who sell style easily, but someone like JM is unique, 1 in a million. I suggest we give him an S-tier individual contract right away and adjust the team contract based on performance, said Chen Wen, who had been watching JM closely. She uploaded supporting slides. My reasoning is simple. Our operations team analyzed JM's stream during this period. For this platform, JM has 3 irreplaceable qualities in attracting new viewers. Technical, poverty alleviation style streaming. He breaks down high ELO game awareness into things like last-hitting economics, war geometry, etc. His teaching is even understandable to middle schoolers. Chapter 22, full of sincerity. JM had carved out a unique ecosystem among League of Legends players with his professional knowledge of the game. His tutorial videos averaged over 1 million views, becoming a de facto must-take course for new players. Platform data showed that, among new users in the past 3 months, those drawn in by live stream content formed a closed loop. Content-driven traffic, fan retention, word-of-mouth growth. The platform reports were proud of the business model they had helped him pioneer. An iron triangle of content and commerce. Tutorial videos that built a professional persona. Live streaming that enabled real-time monetization, and e-commerce diversion that completed the revenue cycle. During JM's partnership, gift commissions and advertising revenue from his streams had risen by 210%. As a top student from Jinling University's School of Management, JM's academic esports player image fit perfectly with tightening government oversight of the live streaming industry. His positive image gave the platform a useful policy buffer. Monitoring of on-stream chat showed 83.6% of topics were positive, well above the industry average. Even those figures were cautious. Compared with many streamers who relied on vulgar antics for viewership, JM's channel was a breath of fresh air. This isn't the time to haggle over conditions, Li Rui, head of marketing, said, suddenly energized. This is about how we keep a partner who can really push the platform forward. With Tencent's recent investment in promoting League, if JM switches platforms, he'll ride that wave anywhere. Talk to him, someone suggested. JM already has a team. To enter pro competitions, they'll need resources. That's a foothold for us. That still might not be enough, another voice chimed in. You can tap university resources, Li Rui countered. JM is at Jinling. He could apply for entrepreneurial support from the school. There was a pause. YY was thriving, but it couldn't match the network advantages of a top 985 university. NXG, the team JM formed, has 4 straight wins and already locked a spot in the LPL preseason qualifiers. Their average game lasts 21 minutes, and they have an average gold lead of plus 7,850. They're dominant. 4 straight wins? someone breathed. Our marquee streamer has to be this good, and his team too? Yes, internal sources say those 4 games were blowouts. Barring surprises, they'll clear the LPL preseason. Sponsorship, someone said flatly. We should sponsor them. Not just sponsorship, Leroy replied. We need deeper cooperation. Zhao Zhigong, head of the technical department, who had been quietly listening, raised his hand. When all eyes turned to him, he spoke slowly. From Shu Tao's messages with JM, it's clear JM isn't just after short-term payouts. He's not looking for a few thousand for a top rank or marginal traffic boosts, nor just a contract upgrade. He keeps bringing up professional teams and being part of LPL preparations. He wants to move from top national server player to professional player, from streamer to team owner, or even club boss. He's thinking about the top-level design of the ecosystem, not short-term profit. So money isn't the main issue, Zhao continued. We should change how we approach this. Invest promotional resources and bring him and his team into our platform's fold. Tie them to our brand in a way that creates long-term mutual benefit. That makes sense, people murmured. We'd been treating him like just another streamer we could control. Given his business acumen and the trend he's riding, he deserves to take off. If we give him a clear path, we gain a partner who can grow alongside the platform. Shu Tao sat back, his expression complex. We got stuck thinking of him as an ordinary streamer. That was a mistake. Let's move fast. I'll go to Jinling tomorrow morning to sign the contract with JM and reorganize the platform's game live streaming section into Douyu Live as soon as possible, Leroy added. With Tencent's push for their flagship PC game, we can save a lot on advertising by riding that promotional wave. Operations, revise the resource investment plan and get it to me by tomorrow morning, Shu Tao ordered. Tech, make the special interactive features we discussed and coordinate sponsorship, university ties, and competitive support. We want them tied to us, not anyone else. Late that night, JM Zhongming was still online. After a 6-game winning streak that climbed him to Diamond 1, he lost the 7th match and called it quits. It got late, and the quality of teammates had slipped. There was no Jarvan 4 jungler like in his first game, just a mess of overcommits, inexplicable deaths, and players who seemed bent on letting the game die. He could tell some of them were deliberate, rival platforms sending players to stall his climb to Challenger. He wasn't afraid of actors, but he hadn't agreed to stay up all night grinding through sabotage while the platform negotiations were still unresolved and the promised relief funds hadn't arrived. He told his viewers he'd keep trying after he slept, then ended the stream and sent a reminder to his teammates to continue their climb on the national server. Only then did he check a WeChat message from Shu Tao. JM, about the new season cooperation, I'd like to meet in person tomorrow. I promise the conditions our platform offers are completely sincere. Shall we set a place? Completely sincere, huh? JM rolled his eyes faintly but didn't dwell on it. Whether it was YY or another platform like Douyu, he needed the support to push NXG onward. He washed up, set his phone aside, and fell into a tired, sleep-soaked sleep, ready to see what the morning would bring. Chapter 23. What do you call efficiency? Early the next morning, Jiang Ming booted up his computer and played a few more placement matches. It wasn't until noon that he casually caught a bus to the spot he'd arranged with Old Shu from YY. There was no choice. The national server was packed with highly competitive players, and a single mistake could set you back. At noon, the bluestone streets of Jinling steamed from the night's rain. JM! Mr. Su! Call me Xiao Zhang! Haha, and you can still call me Old Shu. They met in front of a private restaurant known for good food. Shu Tao greeted him with a warm, friendly smile and, guided by the staff, led him into a private room. Order first, the server asked. I think we should talk about renewing the new season's contract and our cooperation. You're more anxious than I am, Jiang Ming said, smiling, and slid a document across the table. Ha, I'm definitely excited. Being first to claim the season's top challenger is good for both you and the platform. Jiang Ming read, pleasantries aside, even friendship thinned when money and interests were involved. As he flipped through the pages, his pupils tightened. Old Shu hadn't handed over a standard contract, but a full proposal for Jiang Ming's live stream channel and team sponsorship. The scale was surprising, ambitious for a streaming platform in 2013. Had YY suddenly hired a savvy strategist who'd realized how big Tencent's esports push would be, or had someone decided to bet everything? Funding was almost secondary next to the resource investment plan. YY's planning department called it their 3 heavy strikes. 1. Traffic nuclear bomb. Create a Rush to Challenger special section on YY's homepage dedicated to Jiang Ming's livestream channel instead of the old rolling promotion. Show real-time Challenger ranking points. Add exclusive gifts to the channel. Cut the platform's revenue share from 50% to 30%. And prioritize server group stream pushing so his stream wouldn't lag even if others did. 2. Brand binding. Raise the signing fee to 500,000 yuan per year, with a bonus if the team got promoted to LPL. Customize NXG team channel skins, and have audience bullet comments automatically tagged with tashed YY Witness the Rise of Throne. 3. Ecological expansion. Once NXG was confirmed as a sponsored team, YY would send a professional crew to package and market the esports team comprehensively on the scale of organizations like WE. There were also promised technical upgrades, reduce bullet comment delay from 6 seconds to 2 to make reactions feel instantaneous, develop an automatic OBS-style perspective tracking function, temporarily called Hunter Mode, embed a combat power query plugin, allowing viewers to check the streamer's rune and build setup in real time. Indeed, full of sincerity, Jiang Ming murmured. After a long pause, he looked up across the table. I'm curious, what made you guys decide to go all in like this? Originally, he'd expected to trade the massive traffic his channel would attract while climbing the ranks for sponsorship and platform support for NXG to ride Tencent's S3 LOL promotion wave. But the difference between a regular challenger player and a top streamer with hundreds of thousands of followers was huge. YY had clearly understood that and responded in kind. Shu Tao reached into his bag and pulled out a yellowed newspaper photo. A packed crowd at the 2005 WCG Grand Final. He held it with a soft nostalgia. This goes back a long way. Back then, YY was just a little plug-in for gamers. Although Jiang Ming didn't know why a scene of nostalgia had suddenly appeared in the meeting, he let old Shu speak. After hearing the story and finishing the packet, he extended his hand. Shu Tao blinked. What? Since the platform has offered terms like this, I have no reason to refuse. Let's cooperate. Let's do it. Shu recovered instantly and grasped Jiang Ming's hand. At first sight, Shu had been confident JM's channel would grow. Someone with gaming talent, a clear head, a grasp of live streaming, and what he wanted couldn't fail. In a year, JM's name had spread through the LOL community. He'd even made a good impression in a public lecture at Jinling University. Shu had not misjudged him. As they signed the contract at the dining table, Jiang Ming suddenly asked, I wonder, besides being the oxygen of the domestic esports scene, is the platform interested in expanding overseas? For example, he went on, a YY streamer who's #1 on both the Chinese and Korean servers, or even creating a platform-exclusive team in OGN. Shu Tao stared. Why did the kids' ideas run so wild? Their domestic league was still being prepared, and now Jiang Ming was talking about setting up a team in another region. The notion was absurd, but tempting. An esports team owned by YY in the OGN region, why not name it something flashy, he thought. Inside the room, though, they finalized the new contract. The efficiency hit immediately. While they were still eating and the ink on the papers hadn't dried, YY's homepage raised its banner. The exclusive livestream channel for the national server's Rush to Challenger had already gone live. The channel, already swelling in popularity thanks to matches with members of WE, saw instant further expansion. All the resource investments in the proposal launched at once. YY Platform, National Server Top Player, LOL Senior Tutorial Creator, National Server Rush to the Top Support Event, now live, the headline proclaimed. Within YY, every registered user, viewer, or streamer received a back-end notification. The event was simple. During Jiang Ming's climb, users who entered the channel, followed, and sent certain gifts could earn YY experience, special avatar frames, and exclusive themed artwork. Exclusive gifts, channel skins, priority pushing, and built-in interactivity all rolled out in one coordinated push. On the other side of the industry, in a Shanghai high-rise, the CEO of a rival, fish-named streaming company, saw the activity on YY's homepage and realized he'd been outdone. He angrily knocked over the small ornaments on his desk. "Happy Lantern Festival. Give me some monthly votes," he snarled. Chapter 24. Welcome, Summoner. It wasn't over yet. To win the user growth war, YY Platform pulled out a trump card, mastering Penguin's ruthless precision pop-up push strategy. Every game user who downloaded and logged into YY Platform would receive timed push notifications for Jiang Ming's live stream, where he was fighting for the national server top spot. The pop-ups were calculated to appear not only when the game launched, but also in the golden 3 minutes after a match ended, catching players at the moment their interest peaked. The battle for traffic spilled beyond the app. On the external front, YY's operations team executed textbook leverage marketing. Whenever Penguin released major news, like the league ranking system reform or the LPL preparations, dozens of carefully worded promotional posts would flood the hot comments. These soft articles, astonishingly consistent in tone, emphasized the chance to witness the national server climb to the top and win 10,000 yuan, and teased mysterious grand prizes shared among live viewers. The goal was simple. While Penguin expanded its League of Legends section and pulled in new players, YY aimed to siphon off that traffic. The data proved the strategy worked. Within 72 hours of Penguin announcing the ladder point reform, paired with the push for Jiang Ming's top-rank event on YY Live, new registrations surged 237%, with League of Legends division traffic accounting for 81% of the increase. Jiang Ming's popularity in the League section brought them an enormous inflow of users. When Penguin promoted the rank reform, Jiang Ming was already a well-known ladder player, and his earlier tutorial videos had created a steady stream of newcomers who followed his strategy content to YY Live. YY even managed to piggyback on Penguin's official coverage of the LPL formation. NXG team had secured a preseason spot in the LPL after a 4-game winning streak, and when the roster was released, many fans were surprised to learn the team's owner and star was Jiang Ming. The Penguin Esports site, originally meant for match reporting, suddenly funneled tens of thousands of players to YY Live through the team owner link on the team page. The promotion had only just begun. Watching registrations climb, the person in charge could barely contain their excitement. Renewing Jiang Ming's contract and partnering with him was the right call, someone said. "Let's see how much of the market we can carve out with this investment," another laughed. Welcome to League of Legends. Inside the Chasing Waves internet cafe on Gaoke West Road in Modu, the repeated system prompt blended into a digital chorus. Since League became an official WCG event in 2012, Penguin had used its QQ social network to launch massive promotions. The City Hero Championship expanded from 88 to 108 cities, and the events funneled countless people into Summoner's Rift. One of those newcomers was a young man whose in-game name was Ocean. He died under a turret for the 17th time, and a teammate's hoarse voice blasted through his headset. "Garen, you invented the tower feeding style, didn't you? I told you to tank the tower, not feed it." Ocean stared at the gray respawn screen, his finger trembling above the F key. MOBA games were hard. His hands shook, he couldn't hear his teammates clearly, and he couldn't even press the quickness. He hadn't played MOBAs before. He'd spent most of his gaming life on MMOs like Legend, Tianlong, and Mythos. But back in March, a huge poster for the City Hero Championship at Wujiaocheng Wanda Plaza had caught his eye, and on impulse, he'd bought a ticket to watch a match. Images from that game kept replaying in his head. On the LED screen, the blue team's twisted fate flashed into the barren pit. A golden card stunned the enemy, Nashor fell, and the underdog blue team turned the tide with a perfectly timed teleport. The crowd, people his age, had screamed until the roof practically shook. A few months later, on a late night, he downloaded the 4.2 gigabyte League client, and slowly a taste for real-time competitive MOBA play developed. "Brother, I don't think Garen's your thing. Watch Jiang Ming's beginner tutorials and find the role that suits you," a teammate suggested over voice. "Tutorial videos?" Ocean echoed. "Open YY Platform," the support player said. "It'll automatically pop up Jiang Ming's live stream link." When Ocean opened YY Platform, a pop-up had indeed appeared. Beginner tutorials. game guides were exactly what he needed. He remembered the system defaulted him to Ashe when he first played. He'd done dozens of AI matches with her to learn the basics, then tried matchmaking. But he didn't enjoy playing a basic ranged marksman, so he'd switched to Damash's mightiest warrior, hoping to avoid the flames. It hadn't worked. Maybe he just hadn't found the right style. He clicked the tutorial link and settled in. A clip began. Use your brain to play the game, and climbing ranks is easy. Hello everyone, this is Jiang Ming, a Ming's little classroom for new players, new world, the video opened. First, on behalf of the Summoners of Runeterra, welcome new players. I hope my explanations help you enjoy the game. Ocean smiled. Jiang Ming's tone was friendly, not preachy. For new players, I recommend Ashe, Rise, and Garen, 3 default beginners the system suggests, Jiang Ming explained. Why these 3? Some of you might ask, aren't there many other free heroes? The point is, these 3 are designed to help you learn the mechanics and, more importantly, experience different playstyles. He laid it out plainly. Ranged mage, ranged physical marksman, and melee warrior. 3 branches covering the basic playstyles in League. The key was to find the style you liked or even excelled at. That made sense to Ocean. He'd played Ashe in dozens of AI games, switched to Garen because he thought melee would be more engaging, and been punished by the match queue. Maybe a ranged mage would suit him better. He skipped ahead to the 3rd section, where Jiang Ming explained mages. Mage heroes are slightly harder than marksmen and warriors. They're the advanced beginner stage. You lack the high sustained attack of a marksman and the durability of a warrior. Your offense comes from skills with cooldowns. Jiang Ming laid out the pros and cons clearly, the same patient breakdown he used for marksmen and warriors. Ocean kept watching, feeling like he was finally getting a path forward in this chaotic new game. Chapter 25. From Novice to Advanced, from Starting to Mastering, Last Hit, Last Hit. Remember, last hitting is the breathing rhythm of Summoner's Rift. Whether you want to fight or not, you only earn the right to kill an enemy after you've last hit minions and bought some items. Of course, if you can kill the enemy first and then last hit to get double growth, even better. Haha, double growth like a god. This uploader is hilarious. A burst of laughter swept the internet cafe. Haiyang watched the streamer toy with an opponent under the tower and suddenly understood why his own economy always cratered before teamfights. When the streamer said, "Kills are the reward for double growth," Haiyang slapped his thigh. Wasn't that the same reasoning behind a mage kiting a bruiser in so many matches? With a vibrating thread of insight, he closed the webpage, restarted the client, and instantly locked in the Wandering Mage for a new game. Half an hour later, he blinked at the match summary, 6-5. He was stunned. The constant punishment from towers had made him think he couldn't play mid, but the Wandering Mage, bald, clutching a scroll, and hurling bolts of lightning, fit him perfectly. For the first time he hadn't dragged his team down, he actually came out ahead. More, he told himself. Game after game, Haiyang grinned wider and wider. He moved from merely getting positive KDA to setting the lane tempo, then to carrying games. The perspective shift to playing mages felt natural. He was finally finding the rhythm of League. Then, in one match, the enemy mid typed in all chat with obvious annoyance. "Please, pro, go prove yourself in ranked. Why bully new players in casual matchmaking?" Ranked? Haiyang paused, looking at his 7-0 record. He felt a secret pride at being called a master, but he didn't really know much about ranked play. On the client page, he noticed a new mode. Maybe that streamer, Jiang Ming, has a ranked guide, he thought, and started searching. Level 30 and at least 16 champions required to unlock ranked. Haiyang found Jiang Ming's videos. There was even a new upload from this morning covering ranked, hero bans and picks, LP and tiers, bronze, silver, all the way to challenger. So it's like a leaderboard, he muttered. No matter the game, human competition always ends up as a ladder. Nearby, a player who'd been watching him spoke up. "New here?" "Yeah, I just started. You've got talent. I saw you play Wandering Mage in matchmaking." "It was luck, and another new player on the enemy team," Haiyang admitted. "When I started, I lost 2 bot matches. My bot win rate wasn't perfect." The other man joked. "Hey, about Jiang Ming, do you think he can climb to challenger after 10 placement games?" "Of course. He used to be one of the top 3 on the national server ladder, the man said. After the season reset, they put him roughly at Diamond 2. With his skill, 10 games could easily push him to Challenger. You're lucky, another player chimed in. When I started last year, Jiang Ming hadn't even uploaded tutorials. You kids have it easy. Just copy his guides and you get through the beginner stage fast. Brother, I want to play ranked. Can you carry me or recommend guides? Haiyang seized the chance. The other hesitated. Carry you in ranked? My rank last season was almost 2,000 LP. Placement matches are risky. Try solo queue first. If you don't get something, watch Jiang Ming's tutorials. He's got advanced videos for different playstyles. They all agreed Jiang Ming's videos were the reason some people climbed so fast. The cafe's big screen switched over to a YY live stream showing Jiang Ming demonstrating textbook minion wave control as the Wandering Mage. Bullet comments flooded the screen. Whoa, is he really that good? Challenger level, do you even know what that means? Don't start, you haven't even played ranked. Go watch his beginner series first. He's playing a level above most people. It's not instant to understand. Watching his friend dive into ranked advice, Haiyang hurriedly closed the stream and hunted down Jiang Ming's advanced tutorials. Play smart, and climbing ranks is easy, the video tagline promised. Hello everyone, welcome to Jiang Ming's little class. Today we're cooking up heroes. Today's main ingredient, the Wandering Mage. Now a quick break for sponsors. Jiang Ming's rapid rise on YY had produced a flood of tutorials covering everything from first steps to pro-level play, a complete interlocking system for every new summoner entering the Rift. He'd cornered the market. If players needed guidance, they'd look for Jiang Ming. That steady exposure turned viewers into loyal fans, helped his streams and future club plans, and even fed customers to his online store. In short, anything you could think of, Jiang Ming had already uploaded. Phew, one more game, a nearby player sighed. Back at his setup, after signing with YY, Jiang Ming didn't waste time. He launched his ranked climb on stream. Thanks to 2 waves of points from Ming Kai and his already high base rank, no one had pushed past him yet, but grinders could chip away overnight. It would be embarrassing if, right after signing the platform contract, the first challenger spot in Zone 1 was snatched from him. Fortunately, he had allies. Shizaki held the Alliance Master title. Chapter 26. All-Star Escort. Being the first king didn't change Jiang Ming's promotional campaign for topping the national server rankings, but if he could do both, be king and have the publicity, that would be ideal. His first game that afternoon at around 2 p.m. went by smoothly. Some players who had stayed up all night grinding were probably already asleep, and many who wanted to snipe Jiang Ming found that YY Platform had struck a deal with him and kicked off a push-to-the-top live stream that same day. 666, 100 victory points. Strongest king, go a Ming, the Ming army is the best. MMP, streaming in the middle of the day. Lao Zhang, you're something else. I support you, but you're messing with my schedule. To be fair, JM's a night streamer and a college student, but his routine is terrifyingly regular. Hey upstairs, do you think college students eat your rice? Our schedules are regular too. JM, hurry and queue. It looks like all the pro players from rival streams are trying to snipe you. Jiang Ming frowned at the barrage of messages. Under YY Platform's big move, it was inevitable that professional players and other high-ranked streamers would react, but he hadn't expected it so fast. From a pro's perspective, openly trying to beat the first king in the national server and live streaming it would be awkward, but the platform's publicity made it impossible to ignore. In the queue too, it'd be best if we could queue with Ming Gay. They want to snipe our boss. Who asked for that? On WeChat, members of his NXG team were messaging. Since Season 3 launched and the rank system was updated, Jiang Ming had mandated that everyone climb to king in the first region. It was a firm requirement. First, it would help secure better terms in the team's upcoming streaming contract with Moshe Live, which YY Platform was reorganizing around. Second, it was for PR. He didn't want NXG players showing up in live broadcasts as mere diamond-ranked players when they stepped into the LPL stage. High-rank scores don't guarantee pro-level skill, but not having a high rank is a disqualifier for many professional opportunities. Ignore that famous quip by Pig about rank scores being meaningless. Don't take it seriously. God V, for example, as a Diamond 2 powerhouse, had crushed Hand Server's second-ranked left hand because he had the ability to climb, not because Diamond 2 automatically beat top players. On the internet, the JM push to the top event that YY Platform had orchestrated provoked heated debate. Industry insiders were astonished by the platform's gamble. Dumping so many promotional resources on one streamer, possibly cannibalizing traffic from other creators, was a bold move. WoE fans were furious. On the WE fan boards, they called the idea of a common streamer being the national server's top mid lane ridiculous. After all, he'd never faced their world-class Twisted Fate. WE supporters flooded pro players' social media and streams to discredit the claim. Meanwhile, some ordinary King players joined the queue seeking fame, others to collect bounties, and a few just to boost their personal rank. Queued in. Countless viewers tuned in to Jiangming's stream. Spirits soared when he entered draft mode. Quick, who's in the lobby? Holy cow, PDD is here. PDD's queuing. Let me see. Jungler, Wei Xiao, Uzi, are they all in one match? In the NXG basement, the team watched anxiously. Who from us got in? It's all pros. Seriously, they really want to snipe our boss. Is the matchmaking trolling him? What are the odds that everyone gets matched at once when our boss is one game from king? It happens. High-rank queues will overlap if you all go in at the same time. None of us got in? Adu Jing sounded disappointed. He'd been watching Dewee's live streams and wanted to go against their top AD. I'm matched with Ming Yi. Jungler Shi Zhenyu suddenly took off his headphones and announced. Oh, really? Nice, Shito. If this escort works, a promotion and a raise are right around the corner. The rest of the team stopped queuing. A few shifted chairs behind the jungler. Others grabbed his account ID so they could observe once he entered the game. Having their jungler in the match would help Mingge more than any of them being there. Across the draft, the opposing mid and jungler turned out to be WE's Ming Kai and Ruo Feng. Looking at the lobby IDs in the chat, Jiang Ming shook his head. Besides his NXG jungler Shi To, his top was OMG's Go-Going, and his bottom lane was Royal's Uzi and Tabe. The other side, according to live chat, had IG's PDD in top and WE's four-man core filling the rest. True, an all-star game. Jiang Ming felt a headache coming on. He wasn't worried about being unable to handle WE's four-man combo plus PDD. His own top, mid, and bottom were strong, and with Shi To in the jungle, this crucial match shouldn't be a problem. His concern was the inevitable hatred from WE's die-hard fans afterward. We had one of the most fearsome fan bases in the 2013 LPL, so fierce they'd forced some rivals to organize anti-pressure fan groups just to argue with them. Ban Z, ban JMZ, Wei Xiao typed quickly on the red side. As an AD, Wei Xiao knew how dangerous a top-notch assassin could be. Ruo Feng, with first pick, didn't object. If he wanted to play his favorite Twisted Fate, banning Zed made sense. After practicing for a while without fully mastering assassins, he wasn't going to be overconfident just because of a few compliments from fans. Chapter 27. The classic first pick Vayne. The basic reason JM's team had rarely faced WE last season was a simple gap in their standings. On purple side, the bans were Zed, LeBlanc, and Varus. It's worth noting that, although the chubby Uzi's fame wasn't what it would become later, he was already a rising talent. In the recently concluded TGA Winter Finals, he'd gotten the first pentakill of his career on Varus for Huayi Spider. The purple side's bans were aimed at mid and bottom. The blue side's bans targeted top and jungle. Zac and Rumble, PDD's best champions, along with Ming Kai's Evelynn, all got taken off the table. After the bans, Jiang Ming, holding the first pick slot, typed in team chat, "Do you want me to pick something for you?" Go-Going replied, "I'll pick my own. Dragon Knight and Renekton are both open. Are you guys going to pick Jace? He's strong both top and mid right now. Pick Vayne for me." "Can you pick Vayne?" Uzi demanded impatiently. "First pick Vayne?" Jiangming's hands froze on the keyboard. The childish plea in chat made him hesitate. The 15 or 16-year-old Uzi was already living up to his nickname, Mad Dog. Since he assumed he was streaming and anything he said could stir controversy, Jiangming decided to ignore it. Inside Royal Never Give Up, the older Tibet, a little exasperated, pulled at him in chat. "No, little dog, first picking Vayne makes you too easy to counter. You won't play comfortably. If you want it, We can pick it later. All right. Mingay, pick Jarvan 4 first for me. Shi Zhenyu, who'd already locked down his mid-lane pick, typed quickly. Among utility junglers, Jarvan was the best fit for the draft. Outside the game, the executives on the YY streaming platform were practically ecstatic. A promotion match to challenger tier against professional all-stars was the kind of event you could throw money at. They pushed pop-ups and homepage promos. The number of new users from the last 2 days alone was more than enough to cover costs. YY went big, slapping banners in the top right corners of other gaming streams. YY platform LOL section. The strongest professional all-star match awaits. Under that heavy promotion, Jiang Ming's viewer count spiked. JM, what do you want to pick? Gogoing asked, since there was a swap between top and mid. Gragas, Jiang Ming said, looking at Wii's draft. He couldn't read into Wii's tactics too deeply. S3 had left teams attached to the global ultimate system that had won the IPL 5 championship. On top lane, PDD was already experimenting with Jace in solo queue, but Ruo Feng stubbornly stuck to his Twisted Fate. It wasn't that Twisted Fate was bad. Later seasons would see him show up profitably in pro play, but S3 was an assassin-dominated era. LeBlanc, Talon, Gragas, even roaming Riven could bully Twisted Fate. Another reason for Gragas was how to handle Wei Xiao in teamfights. The enemy Caitlyn was protected by Thresh, making it tough for assassins to single her out. Ruofeng, why not switch to Orianna? I think Twisted Fate will be under a lot of pressure from Gragas. Ming Kai suggested. Or Ari. Wan Mao added from the opponent's final counterpick slot. It wasn't that Twisted Fate couldn't handle Gragas. Gragas had high mana costs. Twisted Fate's W gave quick wave clear and mana sustain, and a well-timed gold card could interrupt Gragas's body slam. Pushed properly at level 6, Twisted Fate's ultimate to side lanes could steal priority. But those were ideal lane scenarios, and judging by JM's current shown form, Wan Mao didn't believe his mid could outplay their opponent. Picking Orianna or an assassin to counter would be more comfortable. Ruofeng shook his head. Ari, my proficiency's not quite there. As for Orianna, I'd rather play Twisted Fate. He trusted his signature Twisted Fate. He believed he could hold lane. Gragas had burst but short range. Gold card could kite him. If he hit level 6 and flew bottom twice, Wei Xiao and Wan Mao could open the map. That's how we had won before. All right then, focus on your laning and coordinate with me in the jungle, Ming Kai said. To make up for weaker early jungle fights, he picked Lee Sin. The draft timer ran out and the compositions locked in. Blue side, top Renekton, jungle Jarvan 4, mid Gragas, bottom Vayne and Zyra. Red side, top Jace, jungle Lee Sin, mid Twisted Fate, bottom Caitlyn and Thresh. As soon as the lineups were revealed, Jiang Ming's stream was flooded with pessimism. GG, how do you play against 4 WE players? Left side is just a mixed group of high-ranked players. Right side is WE with PDD replacing Cao Mei. This is basically professional WE. This is rough. The system matched all the WE players together, and they're playing their signature global ult comp. Twisted Fate will fly bot and catch squishy Vayne and Zyra easily. Caitlyn will push towers, and the left side won't be able to hold. Everyone said solo queue players can't beat pros. JM might have some mechanics, but not much. Once Wii gets their strategy going, it's over. Twisted Fate flying bot, unplayable? Jiang Ming chuckled. Yes, Ruo Feng's Twisted Fate would almost certainly fly to a side lane after level 6. The whole league knew that. He even knew Ruo Feng would likely fly bottom to help Wei Xiao. But the problem was Twisted Fate had to survive until level 6. In the first 5 levels, unless Twisted Fate drew only red cards, his wave clear couldn't match Gragas. Could he draw only red cards? Of course not. If he did, his mana would evaporate. All Jiang Ming needed was to build a health advantage, or even get a solo kill in those first 6 levels to keep Twisted Fate pinned in mid. When the game started, 9 of the 10 players were pros, so level 1 positioning was cautious. There'd be no reckless invasions to secure tempo. Both junglers started on their normal buffs. As the minions spawned, countless eyes outside the stream turned to mid lane. Chapter 28, bonus chapter, and a call for continued reading. As the title says, I've already discussed this with the editor, and we're skipping straight to the 3rd round of recommendations. Starting this Sunday, during the new book period, I will update with 6,000 characters daily. The mass release on launch will be no less than 40,000 characters, roughly the equivalent of 20 chapters at the current length. Even if condensed to 4,000 characters, that still amounts to 10 chapters. In the first week, there will definitely be 10,000 character updates. I humbly ask for your continued support, which means please read each day's chapter all the way to the last page before turning to the next one. Please give me your monthly votes. Chapter 29, What Champion Are You? Although JM had previously beaten a number of professional mid laners in straight duels, even OMG's star Cool, he never really entered the top echelon because he lacked major tournament titles. Now facing Ruo Feng, Team WE's core who had just won the World Championship, many viewers were wondering whether this streamer could keep his legend alive. Since his sudden appearance, JM had overturned expectations with an uncanny feel for the game. From minion wave control to predicting skill use, he seemed to pull off advanced techniques effortlessly. Everyone wanted to know if today's JM would play the same. At level 1, Ruo Feng showed the calm you expect from an experienced Twisted Fate player. He cycled cards in the standard blue-red-yellow sequence and intentionally paused for half a second when the third card turned yellow, trying to bait Jiang Ming into stepping up so he could punish him. This mixture of feints and real strikes let him last hit safely and threaten a WA, yellow card stun into an auto, whenever his opponent overextended. Jiang Ming, familiar with mid-lane subtleties, didn't fall for it. He used his body to block the path of the 3 melee minions. Gragas versus Twisted Fate is a bit like Irelia versus LeBlanc in lane. At level 1, melee champions should prioritize experience. As long as you keep your health intact, you grow into the champion. Gragas really comes online at level 3. In S3, a level 3 Gragas was a monster compared to Twisted Fate. Q dealt heavy damage and slowed, W gave damage reduction and a bonus to autos, and E was a damaging dash. By contrast, Twisted Fate's E just altered base attack timing and his Q was less consistent. In a straight duel, the two simply weren't on the same level. Still, Jiang Ming didn't just take hits. Once he occupied the side of the lane, he waited for the 3 melee minions to get low, then took them all out with one Q, nudging Twisted Fate when he tried to step forward and poke. Psychological warfare against Twisted Fate revolves around his card cycling, JM explained on stream. If you're so scared of the yellow card that you give up lane priority, you're just committing to a slow death. Ruo Feng's laning felt average under that pressure, and with no real threat to him, Jiang Ming even had time to lecture viewers. If a level 3 Gragas wants a solo kill, you plant the seeds at levels 1 and 2. You can't kill full health early, but at half health, things change. This was before everyone took teleport. In this era, nearly all mid and top laners ran flash and ignite, favoring aggression. As Jiang Ming spoke, he hit level 2 and instantly fired EQ, closing with E and slamming Twisted Fate with his big belly. No way, this guy is something else, a viewer breathed. Only minutes into the laning phase, Ruo Feng felt the sweat gather. Was JM really not a Twisted Fate expert? JM's control over card range and timing seemed even better than his. At IPL 5, many world-class players still struggled to precisely time Twisted Fate's card cycling by milliseconds. Yet the Gragas in his lane had never even shown the yellow card warning. On wave control, where he should have held the edge before level 3, the minion wave sat awkwardly, neither pushed nor frozen, and Lee Sin couldn't gank. Ruo Feng couldn't go help his jungler bother Prince either. While he thought, the big belly started another EQ combo and nailed Ruo Feng squarely. Damn! Twisted Fate's health fell sharply. Even though Gragas was somewhat squishy in S3, Twisted Fate was weaker in a melee duel. Ruo Feng quickly hit flash. He knew if Gragas kept chipping at him like that, staying in mid at level 3, let alone applying pressure, would be impossible. Also, Gragas' E gets a 50% cooldown reduction when it hits a champion, so he could keep the pressure up. Smart play, Ruo Feng had to admit. Seeing Twisted Fate blow flash, Jiang Ming felt a twinge of regret. If Ruo Feng had tried to save flash, JM could have landed 2 more autos and by the time his E came up again, rushed level 3 and finished the kill. But it wasn't the end of the world. The opponent burning flash early just meant JM would do at level 4 what he might have done at level 3. What the hell? He flashed at level 2. Level 2 Flash? Is this the world champion? How dare you, JM? What champion are you? Talking to my Ruo god like that. Haha, I've sung your praises for so long, and this is what you do. Ruofeng's early flash triggered a storm in the YY9001 chat. After IPL 5, I haven't seen Ruofeng training much. Jungler Mingkai still grinds hard every day. He needs to make money, right? After winning Worlds, he can go to events and cash in. Pro players versus casuals, not as clear as people think. JM's lane is absurdly strong. So what if he's strong in lane? Can JM really take down blue team with 4 WE veterans? Some WE fans debated team composition, but in the game itself, the jungle hadn't made a decisive impact yet. Bottom, Caitlyn and Thresh, Weijuan Mao, had not pulled far ahead of Mad Dog and Tabe. In S3, Vayne's E+ auto mechanic still existed, so her lane punch wasn't weak. With Zyra's poke backing her, Thresh, low in defenses early, needed a good hook to suppress Vayne. On the right side, the only clear lead was PDD's Jace top, who bullied Renekton slightly early. Still, that didn't directly change the mid matchup. Mingi, be careful. Mingkai's Lee Sin is near mid, their jungler warned as everyone hit level 3 and minor skills were picked up. Jiang Ming didn't back off. He actually wanted Lee Sin to come. Shito, come help me counter gank. I'll bait him. He wasn't planning to fight alone. If you call for backup, we'll call for backup too. A mid-jungle 2 versus 2 would come down to who executed better, Twisted Fate and Lee Sin versus Gragas and Prince. Right now, JM had the health and the summoner spell advantage. Come help mid, he called. Gragas was close to level 4, and Ruofeng's level 2 Q kept chunking him. But having used Flash, a recall would cost Ruofeng a lot of minions. Unlike a stubborn streamer who refuses to back, Ruofeng, knowing his limits, called for his jungler. Picking Twisted Fate is supposed to mesh with a strong jungler. If you're planning a pure 1v1, you'd rather pick a stronger dual champ. The plans of both sides collided. Prince reached the F4 monster pit, while Ming Kai's Lee Sin arrived at the brush outside the blue buff wall. Chapter 30. E-Flash, the shock delivered by the dump truck. Jiang Ming smelled something odd in Ruofeng's Twisted Fate positioning. Someone's coming, he thought. In the S3 era, when everyone favored straightforward head-on plays, both solo players and pros were refreshingly blunt. It was a different world from later times, when every veteran could track a jungler's location from a minion wave's slight wobble, a misplaced ward, or an off-spawn time. Jiang Ming decided to play along. He clicked the ground to make Gragas look like he was moving aggressively, faking an E-engage for a solo kill. Then he shifted toward the right river brush, keeping distance to tempt Twisted Fate into using pick a card, gold for a stun, or to bait the Lee Sin in the shadows into starting with Sonic Wave. Lady Luck is smiling, he muttered. I can smell him, someone else said. Ruofeng and Ming Kai fully committed. From the purple side's view, Gragas's position was a perfect gank opportunity. Sonic Wave and pick a card, gold flew at the blue Gragas at the same time. As those projectiles were in midair, Jiang Ming hit W, making Gragas take a swig of 1982 vintage and gain Drunken Rage for damage reduction. After tanking the incoming hits, he threw Q behind Twisted Fate. Mingay, don't panic, I'm here to save you, the voiceover said. When Lee Sin's position revealed itself, the prince strode in with a spear. Shi Zhenyu, worried he might be a fraction late and cause his boss to die, immediately used a flash Q combo. Lee Sin and Twisted Fate were knocked into the air. Damn it, we got counter-ganked, someone cursed. Wee's mid and jungler's faces went white. It's fine, Lee Sin's body is in front, Gragas's E won't hit me, Ruofeng told himself. Once the knock-up ended, he would ghost back under his tower. At worst, Lee Sin would waste a flash. A jungler trading flash for flash was acceptable, but Jiang Ming never intended to fight the jungler. Trying to lock down a fully functional Lee Sin with flash was nearly impossible. Watching Twisted Fate instinctively angle toward his own tower after activating Ghost, Jiang Ming made his move. Gragas launched forward with Body Slam, aiming at Twisted Fate's front right. Is he going to give up his flash to chase Twisted Fate and try to keep me? Ming Kai smiled devilishly. Young man, you don't know my nickname yet. It's too early to try to hold me. A white light flashed across the map, but it wasn't Lee Sin's flash. Gragas, who had been sliding through the air on body slam, vanished, then reappeared behind Lee Sin a heartbeat later, slamming his belly into the Bilgewater gambler. The audience. On screen, Gragas's massive frame traced an impossible zigzag and instantly teleported from a side minion to Twisted Fate's face. The body slam collision registered, damage popped, Gragas's body blocked and landed a basic attack, and Gragas's Q detonated at the endpoint. Jiang Ming followed up with Ignite and another basic attack, and Twisted Fate went down. First blood. The kill announcement rippled through the stadium. Outside the game, everyone's attention zeroed in on Gragas's recent maneuver. Chat rooms and streams exploded. What was that? Did Gragas use flash during his E? Am I seeing things? Can you flash during body slam? Hack. Reported. That displacement just turned a corner. It even bypassed Lee Sin in front of him. I screenshot Ruo Feng's face before he got run over. His pupils were shaking. Haha. Is the streamer playing Gragas or driving a dump truck? Coach, teach me that. As an S1 challenger, I don't get it. Streamer, explain. Type body slam chicken in the chat. The live chat blew up. Many third-party viewers screamed. What the hell had just happened? Clearlove messaged, JM, was that a bug? Gragas can flash during E? Jiang Ming, who'd expected this outcome when he used E-Flash, typed back while explaining to his livestream audience, it's not a bug. I call what I just did E-Flash. That is, using flash in the middle of a skill with a trajectory to extend or change its direction. It's a very practical technique. However, in S3 Riot didn't handle some champion flash interactions well. Pressing flash during a skill often interrupts the cast, so it looks like a bug. He blinked at the camera. If the Riot design team is watching my stream today, could you please focus on optimizing hero skill interaction mechanics in future updates? By the way, in my private tests, many champions can use the skill plus flash mechanism. It's just that the success rate isn't high. The audience went wild. Not only was it not a bug, Jiang Ming said it was reproducible, and other champions might be able to do it too. Casual players felt like they'd been struck by lightning. Fans who'd followed Jiang Ming's tutorial videos for months backed him, believing he'd actually explored the game's deeper mechanics. For them, calling out the designers remotely made sense. By the time the match finished, Jiang Ming's stream had broken platform records for concurrent viewers. Gragas E-Flash and pro player calls out designers trended on Weibo. On forums, threads like Rational Discussion, does E-Flash mean Gragas can dominate mid? And JM's follow-up, which other champions can pull off skill plus flash, flooded the boards. Jiang Ming himself hadn't expected such a reaction. He'd underestimated the impact of a tactic that felt far ahead of its time. Lee Sin was the most stylish jungler of the national server for a reason. Moments like an insect kick or a flash R combo were why players bought flashy skins and learned risky combos, the thrill and the crowd's roar. Patch note, regarding Gragas's E-Flash in S3, after discussing with several challengers, the move should have been impossible in a purely logical sense. Riot's handling of flash and skill interactions in S3 made smooth chaining unreliable and often caused casts to fail. There were also widely circulated bug stories like the flash reset basic attack. Still, probabilistically, executions like E-Flash could happen. For the purpose of this story, that setting is used to explain events. Chapter 31. Care for a Drink. The game kept churning on Summoner's Rift. After a successful play, the purple team's mid and jungler shifted their focus, subtly but decisively. Jiang Ming untangled himself from the stalemate in mid and, together with his teammates, turned his attention to top. Many people have a fixed idea about junglers. When they gank bottom, they always succeed, striking from different angles and at the right moments. That habit goes back to the Bui era. In S2, Yui ran a standard system. The top laner would absorb pressure, mid would roam and support, and the jungler would work with mid to nurture the bottom lane until the AD carry came online. Frequent early ganks to bottom became ingrained in that style. Later, on teams in S4 and S5, the bottom lanes were always stacked with top-tier AD carries, and the tendency only strengthened. Just as some junglers instinctively gank mid, others developed a near instinct for bottom, shaped by years of play. On this game, though, the mid and jungler pivoted. Jiang Ming, who'd already grabbed first blood in mid and was the first to hit level 6, ignored the Twisted Fate tucked under his tower. He pinged his teammates, moved through the jungle, and coordinated a pincer with Jarvan toward top. Before 10 minutes, he generally preferred plays like this. Early game AD carries aren't as strong before their second or third item, whereas a normally farmed top can be a potent force. Ping, Gragas is on the way. They struck as the minion wave hit the tower. Jarvan and Renekton initiated and held Jace in place. Jiang Ming stayed slightly back and tossed an explosive cask that knocked the already committed Jace right into Renekton's path. Renekton took the kill. Jiang Ming pinged retreat immediately. He and Jarvan intentionally gave the kill to Renekton. 300 gold between them wouldn't have made much difference for mid-jungle tempo, but an early kill on top in this meta could snowball into a lane-long advantage. Inside the IG training base, PDD exploded. "What am I playing, a damn banana stick hammer?" he raged over voice chat. "Your fans brag about the world's best Twisted Fate, and he gets out-supported to top by a Gragas?" The jungler Visible Shadow, sitting beside him, reminded him softly, "I told you to ward, old Piao. JM and I have duo queued before. His map awareness is excellent, and he rotates fast with different champions." PDD's face flushed. Getting collapsed on because of poor wards was a recurring embarrassment for him. Visible Shadow used to help cover him, but now that he was paired differently, a lapse in warding cost him. "Ahem, an accident. I forgot they'd rotate like WE." PDD grumbled. "I'll get a control ward. Renekton getting that kill doesn't really matter. My Jace, even at 0-1, will still stomp Go-Going." While PDD sulked, the purple team kept operating. Having ganked top, Gragas left the mid lane window open for Ruo Feng's Twisted Fate. Once Twisted Fate hit 6 from farming, he fired off Destiny and flew straight to bottom. The purple team's setup was ready. One player ward hopped over the wall toward the tower and shoved the greedy Vayne into the chain. Twisted Fate landed a gold card on arrival and completed the crowd control combo. Uzi's Vayne found herself rooted and exposed. Thresh landed a clean hook, and Caitlyn converted it into a kill. The kill feed blinked. Purple Wei Xiao killed Blue Uzi. Jiang Ming frowned. That easy gank on bottom disrupted his team's rhythm. Twisted Fate in mid was a latent threat. If they could keep him locked down in mid and prevent him from effectively using his ultimate, Jiang Ming's side could control tempo. Letting TF freely teleport to other lanes was exactly what would derail that plan. On the live stream, the chat lit up with complaints about the blue team's bottom lane giving Wei Xiao a free kill. Some newer viewers wouldn't fully grasp how terrifying Wei Xiao's Caitlyn could be in that era. Even when the game was still being figured out, Wei Xiao already had the fundamentals and teamfight output that later era top AD carries aspired to. His damage conversion was world-class. At his peak, he could obliterate a target's health bar in an instant. But Jiang Ming didn't flinch at the chat's condemnation. The Vayne on blue was Uzi. If he wasn't greedy for farm, he wouldn't be Mad Dog Uzi. There was no use pinging or flaming. He knew the kid's playstyle and temperament. He didn't waste a question mark ping. If Uzi tilted and went AFK emotionally, it would only make the master promotion game harder. In a normal 5v5, even a down bottom lane doesn't hurt as much as a struggling mid and jungle. When mid loses control, the jungler is the first to suffer. After taking the wave's momentum at top, Jiang Ming went back to base to resupply. He left with a fresh, needlessly large rod. This game, he intended a burst AP build. In S3, there was nothing more satisfying for a mage than picking up a Deathfire Grasp and watching an enemy's health bar disappear in a single combo. As for the mana sustain issue, Shi Zhenyu said, "If I'm a second late getting the blue buff, it's an insult to my dedication as a teammate to my boss." Loyalty. Bang! Time for a brawl. When Ruofeng hit lane, he was in pain. As Jiang Ming's Gragas leveled up, the damage on his Q kept getting ridiculous. One cask would wipe most of the backline minions, 2 or 3 casks and an E would clear an entire wave. The worst part was that Ruofeng couldn't trade casually. Gragas's built-in sustain meant the tiny chip of damage Twisted Fate managed to do was less than what Gragas recovered from a single passive tick. Conversely, if a cask hit him, Twisted Fate's health dropped by a visible chunk. Once his HP dipped, the mid lane was at real risk of being solo killed. Ruofeng still remembered the last wave, Gragas's E into the quickness. and how he simply couldn't react. When the enemy's ulti cooldown was about to refresh, he'd rather lose some minions than step forward half a pace. He could sit under tower and farm, but what about the rest of the map? Jiang Ming, in his streams, didn't gamble on flashy tower dives. His brand was mid-lane commander play, strategic, map-minded, like chess. As a tutorial streamer, he had to show skill, but not only mechanics. The second Ruofeng ceded lane control, the purple team's game experience would go downhill. Ming Kai's Lee Sin paid first for that lane pressure. As soon as the wave pushed, Gragas vanished from mid. The ward that Jarvan had dropped during his earlier jungle invasion showed Lee Sin taking a buff. On screen, Jiang Ming's Gragas walked up, E'd over the wall, and used Explosive Cask to blast Lee Sin back into his own team, where Jarvan finished him off. With the enemy jungler dead, mid and jungler collapsed on bottom lane. They walked straight into Caitlyn and Thresh. Wan Mao and Wei Xiao froze, paranoid about Jarvan's ultimate, the same ultimate used to finish Lee Sin. They had to abandon a huge wave under tower. Wow, you can play the game like this? Uzi's eyes lit up. All his earlier complaints about no mid-jungle attention to bot vanished. Tebe, meanwhile, watched Jiang Ming and NXG's jungle invasion vision closely, memorizing ward placements and calculating movement. He thought quickly about his own mid and jungler. So this is how JM controls tempo. Suppress mid, then extend that pressure into the enemy jungle to hunt their jungler. Take out the jungler, and suddenly both side lanes are threatened. No flashy dives, just plain, effective tactics. Mid and jungler stand where your bot lane fears to look, and your ADC and support can't even touch minions. Tebe felt like he'd discovered something huge. When we contest objectives like Dragon, he mused, if our carry damage is enough, the initiators shouldn't be visible in enemy vision. Take a control ward, let our teammates take Dragon, and we hide to watch the enemy carries. If they don't show, fine. If they do, be ready to spend an extra 300 gold on protection. Look at this wave. Top Jace came down to help. Purple clearly doesn't want to give up Dragon gold. Twisted Fate? Don't worry about Twisted Fate. Purple's real threats are Jace and Caitlyn. On the YY livestream channel, JM reaches national server rank 1. The viewer counter in the top right had already topped 100,000, and it was still daytime. Once people clicked in, they couldn't look away. Like everyone else before them, they absorbed Jiang Ming's commentary and plays, jotting strategies in real time. It was like scripture. Just a second after Jace and Caitlyn showed on screen, Gragas, hidden in river brush on a control ward, W-charged, moved. The same impossible maneuver as before. E and the quickness. A flash of a summoner spell, the thunk of body slam meeting flesh, Gragas's barrel belly plowed into the Piltover enforcer. Before she could react, something splattered across her face. Oh yeah, taste this. Deathfire Grasp, Explosive Cask. Boom. The cask exploded in front of the dragon pit, the shockwave rolling through the canyon. Damn, what kind of damage is that? Viewers shouted. Along with the blast was a dead ADC, one shot. Under Gragas's E plus Deathfire Grasp plus ultimate combo, fragile Caitlyn evaporated instantly. Jace survived, but was badly hurt, slammed by Gragas's ultimate into Renekton's face. The knockback distance alone was enough for Go-Going to detonate Red Rage W. Blue JM killed Purple Wei Xiao. Kill streak. Blue Go-Going killed Purple PDD. Before the teamfight really began, Purple had already lost 2 core players. Ming Kai glanced at Dragon and wisely warded the river exit, slipping away. His fingers were lightning fast. The chat erupted. Designer, look at him. Wei Xiao's Caitlyn. Full health? Just gone? What hand speed is that, pressing Deathfire Grasp the quickness mid-E? I didn't even see when the Q landed. Unbeatable. Purple's late game doesn't even stand a chance. We base. Wei Xiao stared blankly at his black and white screen. One shot? His full health Caitlyn, Purple's only solid advantage, had been farming for over 10 minutes and died before she'd even auto-attacked in the fight. After a long minute of stunned silence, Wan Mao's repeated calls finally pulled him back. You okay? No, I'm just blanked by JM's combo. His damage came out so fast. Wan Mao's face was pale too. As a support, watching your ADC vanish like that felt like a slap. Both sighed and tried to understand how a small mid-jungle deficit had blown the game open. If a mid could one-shot an ADC at just over 10 minutes, what was left to play? After the dragon fight, Jiang Ming's Gragas became untouchable. With magic penetration, a Rabadon's death cap, and deathfire grasp, as soon as his cooldowns were ready, he could one-shot anyone he caught, especially since Purple had no true tank. Top to bottom, they were all squishy. Chapter 33, Challenger, Achieved. Seeking reads, seeking monthly votes. No one could weather Gragas's damage. Jiang Ming, with Gragas in hand, became the Grim Reaper of esports in that match, bringing death wherever he went. Kills, tower pushes, jungle looting, the purple team's gold deficit ballooned from a few thousand to nearly 10,000 in minutes. In mid-game, Wei Xiao and the others tried to rely on team synergy to defend the second tower and high ground, but Gragas kept raining down explosives. His Q&R into the enemy clustered together meant instant death if they were hit, severe wounds if grazed. He used his abilities like they cost nothing, all aimed at crippling opponents. Once their health dipped, the blue team's re-engages were decisive. Low-health defenders couldn't hold even under tower fire. When the purple team finally managed to group up as 5, hoping for a counter, Gragas's second ultimate had refreshed. Another explosive barrel knocked Thresh and Lee Sin out of the fight. Lacking reliable initiation, they could only watch helplessly as the blue team backed off with the advantage. Watching the purple team collapse on the live stream without mounting an effective counter, the WE fans in the YY Platforms Channel 9001 went completely silent. The louder they had bragged before the match, the more bitter the defeat felt now. They never expected that their 4 WE players, plus a strong top laner, would be utterly helpless. If not for the blue team's vain overextending and getting hooked by Wan Mao's Thresh on retreat, the purple team might not have scraped a single kill in the mid to late game. Jiang Ming's solo dominance in mid and his superior take on the current patch had turned what people expected to be a contest into a one-man show. It was the ultimate solo performance. Stepping over the corpses of the BWE 4-man squad and the heads of professional players alike. Victory. The purple team's crystal nexus exploded and the word victory stretched across the screen. 10th placement match. Victory. With a final record of 8 wins and 2 losses, Jiang Ming stared at his personal profile as the Diamond 1 100 LP badge tore apart with a soundless rip and dissolved into mist. The mist condensed into a diamond-shaped crystal, wrapped in blue-gold wings that spread out on either side. Here it comes, JM's Challenger emblem. I ask you, who else? We fans? Speak up, come out and speak. Jiang Ming's live chat exploded. The thought of a national server challenger match, a solo queue king facing professional players, the whole thing was over in under 40 minutes. Including queue time, it barely hit half an hour, and from First Blood to Nexus, it had felt one-sided. Professional players aren't automatically stronger than solo queue gods. JM simply hadn't joined the pro scene yet. Jiang Ming smiled and admired his updated profile. Server 1, National Server Challenger. Goal achieved. Congratulations, JM has been promoted to Challenger tier. Congratulations, JM has been promoted to Challenger tier. Congratulations, JM has been promoted to Challenger tier. As the blue-gold Challenger emblem materialized, thousands of League players logging into Server 1 saw the notifications simultaneously. Holy crap, someone already hit Challenger? Rank updates were less than a day ago. I haven't even finished my placements. How did someone get Challenger already? This is the world of the strong. I just want to hit gold for the skin. Brothers, go watch. JM's live on YY. He reached Challenger by stomping world champions. YY platform followed up instantly. Celebration overlays for the live stream, platform-wide notifications, even outdoor ads, all rolled out for the platform's first challenger. At the same time, because Ming Kai lost his match, his rival's LP dropped, which meant that right now Jiang Ming was still number 1 on the national server. A perfect mid-lane Gragas performance, a godlike slaughter against members of a world champion team, and impeccable mechanics and game sense. He'd entered the Emperor realm by stepping over pro players' corpses. Viewers showered the stream with gifts. Amazing, my Ming. The national server's first challenger, even if temporary, we were here for it. Let's see who talks about pros versus solo queue gods now. JM stomped his way up. Were those opponents even professional players? Watching JM's POV, it looked effortless. First step fast. Every step fast. Last season, JM was always near the top of the ladder. This patch fits him. Not impossible for him to secure the top spot. Seeking VODs, brothers. I just got off work. Boohoo, missed the promotion match. After exiting the match, Jiangming accepted friend requests from several players, including Tabe. He thanked viewers for gifts in chat. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the support, brothers in the stream. He joked, lucky matchmaking. I got several strong teammates. The jungler was even someone I'd played with before. He kept things modest. Dominating pro players? Nah, I'm no god. The main reason is the S3 patch changes. The pace is faster. Once mid and jungle get an advantage, dominant games happen more easily. He went on, in this version, mid and jungle are crucial. Basically, the priorities for climbing. What are you waiting for? Jiangming answered selected chat questions so the stream wouldn't be driven by random speculation. The team was about to enter the LPL, and too much hype could make them a target. His explanation about the patch was met with mixed acceptance by viewers. Version differences? Luck? Some dismissed it. If you were that good, you'd stomp pros regardless. Others latched onto what he mentioned about his teammates. Oh ho, team members? Is your jungler someone from the pro team you formed before, JM? You did it, JM. Are you going pro? Playing pro seems pointless. It's just teenagers hyping themselves. Better to stream and make money. Yes, the team's been put together for a while, and our NXG has already qualified for the LPL preseason. Jiangming narrowed his eyes for a fraction of a second, as if he'd let something slip. The previous game had taken a lot out of him, so he wasn't rushing to queue again. He hung out and chatted with the audience for a while longer. Seeking monthly votes. Chapter 34. Earning money. It's not shameful. How about it? Isn't the jungler we trained personally pretty sharp? Jiangming leaned back lazily in his gaming chair, his long fingers tapping the desk. 3-lane support seamlessly integrated, jungle vision airtight, and teamfight initiation like a guided missile. Live stream? Yes, we'll stream, but not right now. Tryouts aren't over. Once they're finished, the team will meet everyone on our exclusive YY team channel. When that happens, please give us your full support. Hey, speaking of support, anyone interested can click the link in the bottom right of the stream. A Ming hit challenger to today, so my snack shop's having a big sale. If you like snacks, don't miss out. When you're hungry in the middle of a ranked game, grab a pack of floss pastries. A Ming's snack shop only carries carefully selected brand-name treats. Great prices and guaranteed quality. What are you all waiting for? Not a Ming, your sudden boldness almost threw me off. Your streaming style changed faster than lightning. Where did that challenger aura go? Turning into a sales streamer now? Brothers, type real in public chat. Order placed. Don't ask, just say it's supporting the dream. With massive viewer numbers, Jiangming ran an ad without a hint of conscience. Such traffic was a resource. Why not monetize it? Attention on his stream was useful only if it converted into real money. He didn't need much. 1% of viewers buying a single order would make the back-end order counter shoot into the sky. People's pleasures and sorrows seldom aligned. While Jiangming celebrated his climb to challenger, the WE training base was deathly quiet. Cao Mei, Wee's top laner, stood behind his teammates with his mouth slightly open after watching the whole match. He didn't know what to say to comfort them. A small mistake? A momentary lapse? Those sorts of excuses were only good for outsiders. They had 4 members queued on the same team and still got crushed by JM, who only brought a jungler Jarvan and even had IG's PDD playing with them. The patch changes have had too big an impact on mid and jungle. Abu, standing in the room, exclaimed. The patch's emphasis on the strategic importance of mid and jungle felt like a wake-up call for WE. The game pace is too fast, and the damage from mid-assassins is terrifying. There's simply no time for the AD to scale. Wei Xiao rubbed his temples. Wan Mao was the first to recover from the defeat and said bluntly, Abu, I suggest we study this JM player's videos. His understanding of the current meta is far better than most. Abu hesitated. As a pro coach, he hated the idea of learning from some random player's streams, but the loss was undeniable. Their mid and jungle had been utterly crushed, and WE's long-trusted strategies had been stomped flat. ILP5 is history. This is the era of assassins. A sentence JM had said on his stream flashed through Cao Mei's mind. He looked at Ruo Feng, whose face was as pale as paper. The era of mid-assassins. Could Ruo Feng keep up? Jiang Ming didn't linger on Wui's reaction. Every step he took to push the league's development aimed to reshape the esports ecosystem. In this wild era driven by capital, someone needed to cleave through the chaos with an iron fist. The millions pouring into his stream right now were the lever he intended to use. After chatting with viewers a while longer, he returned to ranked play. Even as he joked with his audience, his fingers never stopped flying over the keyboard. Around-the-clock streaming wasn't just about consolidating his lead as the top player on the national server. It was about turning the traffic on the YY platform into the sharp edge of NXG. In a fan-driven world where groups like 60E ran rampant, a newly formed team needed to break through spectacularly or be swept away as anonymous duckweed in the shadow of the giants. Convert live viewers into NXG fans. Fan culture in this era was every bit as powerful as in later generations. Otherwise, weird fan factions like 60E and 59E wouldn't exist. Jiang Ming's plan was simple. Once NXG made it to the LPL, he wanted their fanbase to rival, or at least not be dwarfed by the old clubs. If a team lacked traffic, it would be hard to survive. No traffic meant no sponsors. Advertisers wouldn't touch a fringe team. It also meant trouble recruiting fresh talent. Would rookies choose to gamble on a club without recognition? The original world LCK offered a lesson. With SKT dominating, most new talent wanted to join T1 first. Other teams could only pick at scraps. Jiang Ming knew the first page in an esports club's book of life and death read traffic. A team without the spotlight would wither under sponsor neglect and talented players' departures. NXG had a head start. As owner, Jiang Ming brought attention. If they could show some competitiveness, league resources and sponsorships would follow. So during his ranked sessions, he kept mentioning NXG, consciously and unconsciously imprinting the name into his viewers' minds. NXG would be a team in the upcoming LPL. That afternoon and evening, his luck held. He put together a short 4-game win streak. Later, he hit some trolls and touchy teammates, but still won by holding steady in mid and commanding the team. Around 9 p.m., however, his streak ended when he was matched with a jungler support duo with the prefix DY Live, and they immediately started trolling. Damn it, can't you be less ridiculous? You don't even pretend, just swap a few words and start feeding? As night deepened and Jiang Ming's challenger points climbed, some players who couldn't beat him fairly turned to dirty tactics. Disconnecting their home internet during key teamfights, supports going AFK to force the ADC into a 1v2 bot lane, junglers forcing an early tower dive at level 2 and handing over double buffs at the start. Two people with the same ID prefix would make up some pathetic excuse they didn't even believe, then start the be a man and feed farce. Chapter 35, NXG Team's Daily Training. No way. If I keep streaming like this, even if my mindset stays steady, the viewers will go crazy from the harassment. Even when trolls specifically targeted him, Jiang Ming still won more often than he lost thanks to his overwhelming skill. But he knew that letting those constant griefers wreck game quality wouldn't do his stream any favors, so he stopped the ranked queue. The chat was already exploding. Seriously, isn't Tencent going to do something? They're clearly targeting JM. How can random players pile on a pro like this? Actors, AFkers, every single account with that DY prefix has been reported. Keep targeting him, go ahead. JM's already nearly 200 LP above second place. What's the point? JM's mental game is insane. Mingji, why don't you give us a masterclass? We can't keep putting up with this. Every match feels like a high-pressure game. 4 versus 6 is generous. Only JM could stay cool through this. If it were me, I'd have blown up their whole family. I'm telling you, watching them try and fail is the best part. Reading the defenses from his fans, Jiang Ming smiled and shook his head. Why get angry? Their targeting failed. I still climbed the ranks as planned. Isn't it funny? They aimed everything at me, but I'm still holding first place while they rage impotently. Besides, keeping the game environment healthy is everyone's job. We focus on our own games. Trying to reason with people who've been lacking basic decency since childhood is pointless. They don't deserve an explanation. Haha, don't deserve an explanation. I like that. In matches, I love watching them try every trick to get at me. In the end, I still win, and they're left furious. He didn't linger on it. Instead, Jiang Ming moved into a fan interaction segment, answering questions and giving tips for climbing the ladder. Anything to keep the stream lively. He knew turning around the national server's ranked environment wouldn't happen overnight. He didn't have the clout yet. Even if he reported the problem, higher-ups might shrug. But if he ever reached a point of real influence in esports, he wanted to do something about it. No more top players fleeing to the Korean server to find decent games. A gentleman's revenge, even if delayed, would come when the time was right. At exactly 2 a.m., his fingers warming to the keys, Jiang Ming cued another ranked match. Despite his teammates' trolls, he piloted LeBlanc to a clutch pentakill in the Dragon Pit, swinging the game and securing the last stream-off win he'd promised his viewers. He held up the final bag of Rusong bread to the camera. Play smart, and climbing is easy. That's it for today's stream. Thanks to everyone who stayed up late with me. Same time tomorrow. He leaned close to the mic, lowering his voice like he was sharing a secret. I'll show you the ultimate climbing trick for the current patch. You won't want to miss it. And the LPL is starting soon. NXG Team's Weibo is up. Give it a follow, everyone. See you there. Down in NXG's basement training room, the mood couldn't have been more different. Woohoo, another win, someone crowed. Awesome. She too, you and Mingay actually beat E. Heh, beat. It was a total stomp. Even dealing with the trolls later felt satisfying. After the ranked game with their boss, Shi Zhenyu signed off and his teammates swarmed him, grinning and wasting no time with exaggerated praise. Shito, give us an acceptance speech. What's it like getting the slaughter with Mingay? Xu Jing teased, waggling his eyebrows. Pang Ran, his close friend, added, Shito did the gaga and Mingay was out front doing the killing. Pretty much. When I play with Mingay, I just follow his calls and focus on my mechanics, Shi Zhenyu said with a laugh. Wu Jiqiang, the mid laner, feigned indignation. So when you duo with me in mid-jungle, you can't focus on your mechanics? Oh, come on. Don't be so blunt. Qiangzi, you don't actually think you're stronger than the boss, do you? Mingay taught mid-jungle synergy before. Look at how you play. That's too much. I'm challenging you to a duel. A mid laner challenging a support to a duel? You really can say that? All right, stop mucking around. Back to training, Song Yuan broke in, steering them back to business. After training, we still have ranked games. We didn't get very high last season. We still need a bunch of games to push to Diamond. Don't let one person stay behind at Diamond when we move up to the LPL. That remark changed the atmosphere. Moving everyone to Diamond had been an order Jiang Ming gave the day before. Xu Jing ran a hand through his hair. He had the lowest rank on the team, and getting to Diamond on top of daily training would require effort. Let's go, Old Pang. Hurry and duo with me. Heh, Shito's mine today. Top laner Song Yuan said with a grin. Qiangzi, good luck solo queuing. They say solo queue is where individual skill really sharpens. No wonder Song Yuan looked so pleased. He who used to solo grind never expected to get priority calls from the team's boss and a jungler dad to duo with. Wu Ziqiang's face darkened. He gave 2 fingers in jest. Don't laugh too soon. By the end of this week, if your Jace isn't on point, you'll be crying. A few more jabs passed, and the mid laner had no choice but to accept his long march to Diamond via solo queue. Duo queue? Have you finished your training tasks today? There's a penalty for not reaching Diamond, but don't think you'll escape consequences for skipping team training either. Thanks, Support Dad. You saved me. I suddenly remember I've still got basic training to do today. Come on, hurry. We can play ranked tonight. The 5 members of NXG cherished their pro contracts for more than just getting paid to play. Having been at NXG a while, anyone with half a brain could see real progress, something they called professional training, so even when they grumbled, they didn't skimp on the work. After the match, Shi Zhenyu, a little thirsty, stood and grabbed a bottle of cola. He glanced up at the plaque on the basement wall, listing the team's training schedule. Daily training schedule, attachment. 10 to 10:30, wake up, personal hygiene. 10:30 to 11:30, meal. 11:30, 12:30, morning meeting, training task assignment, patch update interpretation, training review. 12:30 to 13:30 lunch break. 13:30-15:30 individual specialized training. 15:30 to 16:00 personal activity time. 16 team scrims 18-19:30 dinner and personal activity time. 19:30 to 21:00 tactical study time. 21 to 3:30 team training or individual ranked games. Chapter 36. Don't run, come towards us. Jiangming ran his team with the rigor of a modern professional squad, scheduling everything from daily routines to training tasks down to precise time slots. Compared with the rest of the current league scene, no region trained as professionally as NXG. Their hardware might not match the richest clubs yet, but in terms of methodology and content, Jiangming could confidently say he outclassed them all. The results of this meticulous regimen showed quickly. The 5 NXG players, whose individual ratings had hovered near 2100, improved dramatically under constant practice. Each of them could have broken into the top 50 of the strongest challenger tier in the first region. Individual skill was one thing, but what stood out most was their professionalism, far beyond what this era usually saw. That professionalism was the real reason NXG mopped up opponents at tryouts. Of course, the brutal schedule had drawbacks. During recruitment, few internet-addicted teens could endure the intensity. Most lasted 2 days, realized being a pro wasn't a joke, and left. Jiangming had had to lower some rank thresholds to fill the 5 roster spots, and fortunately, those who stayed were willing to grind through the hardship and follow orders. At 3 p.m., it was time for position-specific training. First up was the daily mandatory last hitting drill. Everyone on the roster except the support, including the jungler, had target quotas to hit. Shi Zhenyu, who spent his days clearing jungle camps, didn't understand why he had to practice last hitting, but he trusted Ming Ji. Today's 10-minute undisturbed last hitting targets: mid and 80-95, top 92+, jungler 90+. Copy. Pangran, I've finished my 10-minute undisturbed last hitting. Come help me with high-pressure last hit and tower last hit drills. Xu Jing's fundamentals were the best of the 5, so he usually finished basic training first. Pang Ran, the support who had no basic last-hitting tasks of his own, played interference for everyone, both to train his teammates and to sharpen his own harass in the bottom lane. Today, he picked Blitzcrank, which doubled as special training for the AD carry to practice dodging Blitz's Q hook. Without a support to control positioning, last hitting while avoiding a wandering hook was much harder. Dodging with movement was part of everybody's curriculum, regardless of role. Beyond tower pressure last hitting, they also practiced edge-of-terrain movement. The AD had to dodge skills or use the quickness to cross walls placed at various spots, Jiangming marked in the canyon. Hey, Pang Ran, you're cheating. You can even use the quickness with Q. Xu Jing slammed his hand on the table hard enough to make his keyboard bounce. Ref, I want to file a complaint for foul play. This isn't fair. Pang Ran adjusted his reflective glasses, spinning the tactics board between his fingers. Mingyi's favorite line is, all warfare is based on deception. Besides, he flashed a practiced cat-and-mouse grin. Helping the AD improve is the support's job. We won't shy away. Their exaggerated wails filled the training room, while the other 3 exchanged here we go again looks. Song Yuan silently lowered his chair by 3 centimeters, as if that might help him withstand the coming storm. After basic drills came advanced, position-specific training. Fixed-point skill combos and moving target predictions were universal tasks, but the support-assisted interference moved on to the top lane next after they finished Xu Jing's 100 last-hit interference routine. Yuan Gare? The duo lane waddled up to the trembling top laner arm in arm. Today, do you want to be run over by a jeep or attacked by a walking stick alien? Pangran pressed the wheels of his chair together. The metallic scrape sounded like torture tools being sharpened. Song Yuan winced. Guys, go easy on me. This part of the schedule was Landry's personal torment. He wanted to run, but couldn't. Top lane advanced training, pressure resistance special training, 1v2 minion wave control, farming, and gank prevention. Jiangming considered 1v2 pressure resistance essential. The duo lane would push top, and then mid and jungler would look for dive opportunities. Faced with duo lane pressure and repeated dives from mid and jungle, Song Yuan had to walk a knife edge, when to last hit, when to soak experience, and when to abandon the tower and flee for his life. Every decision could mean life or death. Dying was allowed, but he had to extract the maximum gold and experience first. In one session, Song Yuan miraculously avoided a 4-man dive but missed experience from 3 melee minions. Zhang Ming immediately docked him an extra half hour of last-hitting fundamentals. In short, dying was forgivable, dying uselessly was not. Song Yuan, don't run, come towards us. Ga, the mud truck is coming to run you over. No, what walking stick alien are you? I don't want a jeep to run me over. You guys are merciless. After the 27th dive, Song Yuan's resigned face filled his monitor. Woo, I'm going to find Mingji. I'm applying to be an actual turret. Compared to repeated dives, the subsequent top lane map signal drills and the quickness timing exercises felt like heaven to him. Listening to Song Yuan's complaints, Shi Zhenyu could only smile helplessly. His teammates made a show of it every day, acting as if they'd just faced doom, though it had become routine. That didn't mean his own tasks were easy. The jungler's advanced training was almost the opposite of top lanes. Often, it didn't even require a live game. Ming Ge would send documents with hypothetical scenarios. Shi Zhenyu had to plan jungle routes for each, provide 1 or 2 invasion counter-gank plans, and justify his choices. Professional play required examinations of a different kind. Jungle route planning was an open-ended essay. Invasion and counter-gank strategy was short answer. Jungle resource priority decisions were true-false. If top lane's advanced training tested physical and mental pressure resistance, the jungler's was a test of willpower. No one had warned him that pro gaming involved taking daily exams. Can't mess around with this. Seriously, can't. Lucky I don't play jungle. The others joked. As the jungler's close friend, the mid laner wasn't spared either. At that moment, mid lane Wu Zhiqiang was wrestling with vision control. Chapter 37, Public Opinion Ferments. Apart from basic laning and ganking timing, the part of training that had always given Qiangzi, the mid laner, the biggest headache was vision placement. For example, in an advantageous game you had to control river vision and the enemy's wards to over 80% coverage. Wu Zhiqiang grumbled, "My mid has taken over the support's job. Who do I complain to?" Over 10 minutes later, the tables had turned. The top laner, who'd been wailing a second ago, now wore a mischievous Tom and Jerry grin. Song Yuan kicked his chair with a flourish and crowed, Ga, little shoe, why are you running? I heard you like helping people with extra 1v2 training. You tormented me earlier. Now it's my turn. They switched training roles. Now they were simulating a roaming support and an AD left alone 1v2. Facing the simulated roaming support, Su Jing, abandoned in lane, stared at Song Yuan, who was slowly contorting into some Picasso-esque posture, and managed, horrified, "Don't come over here." "Record the opponent's warding habits," came Zhang Ming's calm instructions over the comms. "Build a heat map of the enemy jungler's routes. Constantly calculate and report the enemy's key cooldown windows in public chat." "Jungler, support synergy is the goal," he finished. Pangran swallowed and took the jungle pathing notes Shito handed him. As a support, his training volume matched everyone else's. In fact, compared with other drills that honed muscle memory, the memory burden for a support was relentless. On top of warding and vision mechanics, a support often had to act as commander when mid couldn't relieve pressure. Pangran's workload increased linearly. Basic resource contesting and evasion, prioritizing targets in teamfights, gathering information about minion wave management across all 3 lanes, specialized positioning and zoning in fights, placing vision ladders during different push and defense phases, safe warding when the jungle was invaded, and setting vision traps when forcing barren fights. Every day there was something new to memorize, no repeats. I really don't know how Mingge's brain is wired. He comes up with so many training methods for one game, Pang Ran said in admiration, sometimes feeling his memory blur from all the detail. He couldn't imagine how developed a normal brain would have to be to organize all that. Shi Zhenyu shrugged. "That's why Mingge is the boss. We're just ordinary members of NXG. Why overthink it? You, old Pang, chose support. I only study jungle. Everyone does what they're supposed to," Shito replied. You're right. Silence reclaimed the training room, except for the steady clacking of keyboards, the rustle of crumpled drafts on the desk, and Jiang Ming's ever-updating Death Training N0 document on his screen. All of it declared one thing. This cruel cultivation called Getting Stronger never stopped. Outside, the fallout from Jiang Ming's stream was growing. He had steamrolled several professional players in an 8 or 9-player match to reach Challenger, snagging the national server's #1 spot despite griefers and AFK teammates. Clips from that match spread fastest. Edited highlights appeared everywhere and racked up hundreds of thousands of views even before Jiang Ming uploaded his own version. When he did release his edited essence the next day, the traffic exploded. Quickness Gragas era-defining gameplay, seamless ability connections, and the quickness. Some pros called the champ trash. JM makes it terrifying with an 87% presence. Electrum 1 Challenger game dominates pros to top the ladder. Are pros always better than random players? Not necessarily. Clutch mechanics and insane game sense. This guy plays with his brain. From LOL message boards to portal sites and even Weibo hot searches, the topic trended top 10 under YY Platform's push. LOL season update. YY streamer becomes first strongest challenger. The line was a double entendre. First challenger and the strongest challenger on the national server. As the debate swelled, Tencent, already heavily promoting League of Legends, noticed the season update challenger story gaining traction. They jumped in and gave Jiang Ming's stream an extra boost on QQ. Rational discussion. How strong is JM really? He's unique. 9 pros in one match. Felt like he was hanging other challengers out to dry. Don't overhype it. National server first is just rank. Pro game pacing is different. If you watched the stream, you wouldn't say that. The match was insane. Purple team, W plus PDD, were crushed by JM and his team. Only one jungler from NXG played, and 2 players completely controlled tempo. If you can't win lane or seize tempo, you get crushed in team fights. Those so-called pros would be in trouble against this. This guy isn't just mechanically strong, his game sense is terrifying. If he hadn't been streaming on YY, I'd swear he'd played pro. We needs to refocus this year. JM said S3 is mid-jungle meta, and Wee's strength is bottom. ADs are getting wrecked by assassins. Woohoo, LPL's founding season is going to be exciting. Didn't JM say his team's already in the LPL? Shocking. Riot designer responds to JM's call-out. The thread exploded with another insert. Soon, not just national server players, but League fans abroad were joining the conversation. Riot's statement appeared on international channels. Dear Summoners, thank you for your love and attention to League of Legends. We're always glad to see players actively exploring new mechanics. We want to recognize that our design team left many interesting gameplay possibilities after long conception, testing, and adjustment. Thanks to JM, a player from the LPL, who discovered interaction possibilities between certain champion abilities and the quickness. As a top ladder player, we've been following JM for some time. His instructional videos have solved many problems for new players and greatly helped the community. We hereby sincerely invite player JM to become our player feedback representative for League of Legends. Chapter 38, Become Famous Overnight. We'll be honest, League of Legends isn't perfect in this area. Sometimes interactions between abilities and summoner spells don't register properly, and it can look like a bug. The team even considered removing the interaction at one point, but please rest assured, we can't bring ourselves to take away cool mechanics like Gragas's E, the quickness. It will be optimized in the next patch. Our goal has always been to offer a richer, more interesting, and more strategic experience, making each match full of fresh possibilities and challenges. The discovery of this new mechanism is meant to add meaningful change to the game's ecosystem. We hope it will spark more synergy between champions and force players to rethink tactics in laning, teamfights, and resource control. For example, in laning, the new interaction might shift certain champions' advantages or disadvantages, prompting new counters and experiments. In teamfights, it could become a turning point that rewards precise coordination. We know some players may feel uncomfortable or spot imbalances at first. That's normal. Game development is an ongoing process, and we take your feedback seriously. Your discoveries and suggestions are vital to improving the game. Thank you for your continued support and love for League of Legends. We hope you enjoy exploring this new mechanic, and we welcome your thoughts so we can make the game even better together. Have fun. League of Legends Hero Design Team. No way, that's really an announcement from Fist. It's on both Twitter and Weibo. Bro's amazing. So Gragas's E, the quickness isn't a bug, the designer confirmed it. The interaction between abilities and the quickness? There's so much to dig into. JM, you sly dog, hand over every trick you've been hiding. I'll pay for the meat floss pastry and anything else. Please someone upload a Gragas quickness tutorial now. Fist's announcement hit the community like a bomb in a still pond, sending ripples through the League of Legends scene. Unlike later eras where designers became a laughingstock, Season 3 Riot still carried a sense of craft and playfulness that players loved. For Zhang Ming, getting official acknowledgement and encouragement for tutorial content was like gilding himself in public. But it wasn't just the announcement that drew attention. Professional players turned their spotlights on Jiang Ming for another reason. He had beaten a stacked lineup featuring 4 members of WE in a ranked match. That single fact exploded the situation. The 2012 WE roster had just been crowned world champions and was dominating the esports landscape, drawing massive attention. Running into Ming Kai in a ranked game had already boosted viewership for Zhang Ming's stream. Defeating the whole WE roster sent the reaction into the stratosphere. What? No way. Say that again? WE, the team that treated other top squads like bots, got bloodied by a random player and a semi-pro jungler? Disbelief was the first reaction among pros. How could a legendary team with precise tactics and terrifying execution be taken down by an unknown? Updates were one thing, but could a single interaction actually overturn a dynasty? If so, wouldn't the meta team decide the fate of the pro scene? Those doubts evaporated once Zhang Ming's Challenger promotion replay was analyzed frame by frame. The professional community fell silent as pieces fell into place. Surprise turned to delight and delight to frenzy. The idea that a random ladder match could reveal tactics capable of beating the Wii sent every team scrambling. At the IG training house, the smell of instant noodles mingled with the scent of young players. PDD, hair a mess, slammed his palm on the table. Fang Kuai Long, have you figured it out yet? I'm waiting to stomp WE in the LPL opener. Damn it, if it were that easy, I'd go do it myself. Don't just stand there giving pointers. Xiao Xiao, the one PDD called Fang Kuai Long, protested, smoothing back his thinning bangs. If I could pick up everything this guy talks about in a day, I'd have been #1 on the national server years ago. But one thing's obvious, Xiao Xiao added reluctantly. Mid-assassins in S3 are way stronger than before. They fit Z-Tai perfectly. Everyone's attention snapped to the pale, green-haired teenager in the corner. Kid jabbed Z-Tai's ribs with an elbow. Left hand on skill shots, right hand on Zed. You'll crush Ruofeng's mid. Me? Really? Z-Tai's face flushed. PDD flashed his shark grin. JM's game sense is weird, but when it comes to mechanics, he stretched the sentence for effect. Do we really think our genius mid will lose to some random player? We'll probably have a rough start this season, someone muttered. Once that ranked match spreads, every team will come after WE. Heh, PDD snorted. That's exactly why we need to be ahead of the curve. IG wasn't alone. Teams across the scene poured over Zhang Ming's stream archives. By the end of the investigations, many pros were unnerved. Even Zhang Ming's beginner tutorials contained deep strategic insights, sometimes more advanced than those of veterans who'd been in the scene for years. What had seemed like a casual challenger run, 3 days from promotion to first place, became a wildfire of attention thanks to the combined efforts of players, analysts, and the media. As deeper background details about Zhang Ming emerged, his sudden rise went from a community sensation to mainstream news. By morning, he'd gone from an anonymous streamer to one of the hottest rising stars in the gaming world. Chapter 39. Do you know about original shares? Is the gap between people really this big? I'm so jealous. Comparing yourself to others only makes you mad. Not only is he top of his class, he's an amazing gamer too. I still have to worry about retakes for finals, and he's already making millions a year. The craziest part is he started from nothing, just that tiny university entrepreneurship grant, and then everything exploded. Other people's universities versus mine. Using a university entrepreneurship fund to open an online shop, I've shamed my alma mater. Those entrepreneurship funds, weren't they supposed to be for fruit stands, milk tea shops, or copy shops? Speak of the truth upstairs. JM's shop direction. If you can't copy his playstyle, at least buy the same accessories, right? The flood of attention swept through campus like a storm. Students who had barely noticed Jiang Ming before suddenly looked at him as if he were a specimen to be studied, his every move scanned, his face recognized. That steady, curious scrutiny made him turn his head every few steps. He had no family connections, no privileged background, and yet he had climbed to the top by himself. To most people, that looked like luck, or worse, cheating. Jiang Ming didn't want to become a spectacle. After dropping off materials with his department teacher, he hid in his rented room, moving only between the team training room and his streaming setup. He planned to ride out the attention until it faded. College trends burned bright and fast, novelty wore off quickly, and people would forget. In the meantime, the attention did have concrete benefits. Traffic to his online shop skyrocketed, followers for his streams multiplied, and teaching video views shot up. Orders followed. You have a new order. Please process it promptly. You have a new order. Please process it promptly. You have a new order. Please process it promptly. When the robotic voice announced the 127th order of the day, Lin Jingyi refilled her thermos with wolfberries without looking up. The pile of shipping slips stacked at the packing station was only the opening salvo of this esports-driven shopping frenzy. We can't send them all. We really can't. She muttered to herself. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. She pressed tape down across the carton's edge with practiced fingers and glanced at the order printer, which was faintly scorching from nonstop use. Her whole body ached. On the group chat, requests kept popping up. Senior, the floss bread stock is down to 20%. Please poke Yuchen. If they don't deliver, we'll be out by tomorrow morning. I think we should increase order capacity directly. Other snacks need restocking too. The apparel line is out of several styles and 2 customer orders haven't shipped yet. We're almost past the ship-by time. There have been a few malicious returns from the merch shop. Should we ask Mingyi to deal with it? Lin Jingyi cataloged the problems in her head and answered steadily. No rush on Yuchen. Their liaison already personally delivered goods today. As for increasing order volume, that's something they'll discuss with the boss. We don't have to act on it ourselves. For the clothing shortage, have customer service explain the situation. For customers who had orders delayed because we couldn't restock, issue full refunds and send a trial snack pack as compensation. For malicious returns, try to negotiate first and collect screenshots. Save transaction records and any evidence. If negotiation fails, escalate to the platform and let them follow procedure. She wasn't overly worried about returns. Her months working with Jiang Ming had taught her the rules. Even if the platform sometimes favored customers, merchants could still make the user jump through hoops over credit history and refund paperwork. Lin Jingyi's role had her doing everything from checking orders and coordinating shipments to handling customer messages and after-sales issues. Every fix led to another problem. She moved through the chaos like a spinning top, barely pausing to drink water. Also, we still need to calculate November payroll, and the interviews for new hires aren't done. I'm going to die, she sighed. If you're tired, take a break, the new freshman in customer service replied as she typed a response to a buyer. You shouldn't work yourself to death for someone else. If he's getting you to do all this, he should at least give you a raise. Lin Jingyi glanced up, but kept her hands on the keyboard. Half a year ago, these 2 warehouses had been practically empty. Now goods came in and out so fast you had to sidle through the aisles. Customer inquiries must be replied to promptly, she said. The junior paled and gripped her ID lanyard. I know, I just think it's unfair. You're doing the work of 3 people. A box of clothes suddenly tipped. Lin Jingyi lunged to steady it and looked up at the group photo on the wall, the one she, Mr. Yu, and Jiang Ming had taken after winning first place in the entrepreneurship competition. The picture felt like a keepsake of a calmer time. Junior, senior, what's wrong? Do you know about original shares? Lin Jingyi asked abruptly. Chapter 40. The Toilers, Part 1. As the other party froze for a moment, the small overhead crane in the warehouse creaked and rattled. Lin Jingyi paid it no mind and stepped forward again to steady the boxes. Back at her computer, she opened her thermos, took a sip, and typed a message to the WeChat contact, saved as Zhang the Skinflint. The salary calculations are done. Please check the increased unit rate for the packaging part-timers. If there are no problems, I'll send it to everyone soon. A reply came almost immediately. Zhang, you can sign and send it directly. Just send me the financial report later. Also, Manager Lin, did you think about what I mentioned last night? Lin Jingyi's eyes curved as she typed back. If I handle finance for you, I'll already be busy enough. Club manager? You'd probably work me to death. Heh, I can't help it. Right now, the only person I can find and trust is Xueji. It's a startup. There's too much to do. The capable ones get more work. Is this just talk? Not just talk. From today on, every job will be compensated separately for our beautiful Miss Lin. That's more like it. Oh, and I found the video editors you asked for. 2 unemployed seniors, skilled. I suggest long-term contracts. I also found a detached house for the team base, not far from Taikang. Check it out when you have time. Renovations will take time. Otherwise, it'll be rushed. Also, about logistics staff. I had a junior scout a labor market. If you don't mind, you could recruit 2 people there. If you provide food and lodging, their salary expectations are very reasonable. Instantly in work mode, Lin Jingyi listed everything Jiang needed to handle. Oh, and buy a car. Jiang Ming sent back a playful emoji, hands clasped in salute. For recruitment, Xuejie can take full charge as NXG's manager. I'm just the ruthless money-making machine. Seeing the emoji, Lin Jingyi smiled and looked again at the junior who had given her initial advice. She thought, not for the first time, that people often confuse a platform's success with their own abilities. Had Zhang's online store grown because of her, an assistant doing multiple jobs? No. Had it succeeded only because of the college's small financial and venue support? No. It wasn't the temporary increase that made the warehouse part-timer's hourly wage jump to 30 yuan, and it wasn't the indifferent customer service junior either. Whoever had been in that dean's office that day, competent, clever, they would have gotten the same deal and learned things that university wouldn't teach. Lin Jingyi knew she wasn't the sole cause. Jiang Ming had a personal maxim: one person can't do everything well. Those who can make the best use of others achieve greatness. He admired the stoic line, to toil and strive until death, from the Chu Shi Biao. But he also remembered a statue of an exhausted official at the Wuhu Ancestral Temple in Chengdu. His blue stone robe seemed to hold 2,000 years of unfinished sweat. Jiang never believed he could do everything himself. Finding, nurturing, and then using talent, that was his strategy. Lin Sheji, with an accounting background, was meticulous and could organize down to the smallest detail. She had management potential, and being from the same school, an instinctive understanding of how esports and e-commerce could be connected. Jiang didn't want to waste her on payroll and logistics alone. With a little investment in her growth, she could be the perfect club manager. When he'd started making his first pot of money, he couldn't offer a big salary, but Xueji wasn't stingy. With the S3 King update driving unprecedented traffic, the online store was suddenly profitable. YY platform bonuses and an incoming sponsorship meant Jiang could finally move forward with club preparations, and promoting Sheiji and increasing her pay was top priority. There are 2 selection matches left, he thought. Even if they lost both, it wouldn't ruin their LPL qualification, but a sweep would maximize traffic. Having settled matters with Lin Jingyi, Jiang began planning the next steps. There was time before the LPL regular season. He needed someone with game knowledge to supervise players' daily practice. Professional coaches were out of reach for now. Quality esports coaches were scarce across the league, so he would have to cultivate coaches himself. The tutorial videos couldn't be abandoned, but Jiang knew he wouldn't have the energy to produce them all later. He could set up a video studio. He would supply concepts and focus first on game extension content, then see how far they could push it. He wanted to test the 2 editors Xueji had found and quickly capture market share in 2 video categories: comedic League of Legends skits, those map-roaming, absurdist patrol videos, and highlight reels featuring top king-rank gameplay. Holidays were approaching, so YY live streams wouldn't be interrupted by classes. That would help consolidate viewership. The YY bonuses and sponsorships weren't huge. The initial capital still had to come mainly from Zhang, but the team base didn't need to be big. If they aimed for standardization, however, there would be plenty of places to spend. Livestream frequency would have to rise over the holidays. Failing that, they could run a challenge series targeting dual-server king rank to draw attention. He also planned to expand the online shop's product range, more suppliers, more variety. If they scaled up, they could move to direct manufacturing. Specialty snack lines, fluffy meat buns, and fish tofu snacks were small-ticket items that sold well. They shouldn't be left out. Yuchen had sent someone to discuss wholesale pricing. Jiang could ask if they wanted to be NXG's second sponsor. The thought brightened his expression. With the evidence of recent livestream popularity and sales figures, Yuchen should be receptive. The traffic was visible. The data told the story. Team base rental, contract renewals for players after LPL promotion, hardware and software upgrades, necessary club staffing. There was a long list of expenses ahead. But for the first time since he'd started, Jiang felt the pieces were falling into place.